Hi, everyone. It's LinkedIn Live, Hour of Empower. The word of the day is support. So happy to have everybody with us. Comments are wide open. Renadeb has always trying to be the first, and today has succeeded. I'm so blessed and honored to have Beverly Glazer here again, our regular Tuesday host who brings so much value and empowerment to the audience and to the show. With that, I
Hi.
want to also say hello to Minerva, and Minerva Green is here. Thank you so much for being part of this wonderful pairing and trio today. So, with that, I'll let Beverly open it up and share her first thoughts on support and catch up to what's going on in Beverly's life. Beverly?
Well, my first comment is I needed tech support today. So, and everyone needs support at one time or other. And I'm also thrilled to be on with you, Minerva.
Yes.
We've spoken before, and Minerva has done such wonderful things supporting people. And support is what it's really all about. This is what this program is about. This is what outreach is about. This is what LinkedIn is about. You can say it's all about sales, but really, we're here to know, like, and trust each other. And that is really about support. You're not going to do any business or anything else with someone that you do not trust. It starts there.
Yes.
So if you trust even a major company, whatever it is, it's because they've built that brand to prove to you that you should buy from them. So it starts with people, and I'm all about people, and it's people helping people. And so this is what the show is really about. This is what, Dawn, you've built this community about. It's all about support. So we're here to support you, and all you have to do is ask. That's a huge deal. Okay. To be able to actually ask for support when you need it, because we always feel that we are more capable than we are, and we want to do it ourselves. I mean, let's face it. So support is about giving, but it's also about getting.
That's right.
Sounds like a great lift off. With that, I'll turn it over to Minerva. And Minerva, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience? I know you've been in it before and seen shows, and we've talked on the phone, but a lot of people like to know more about Minerva as content, and then your first thoughts on support. So Minerva, take it away.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Don. As a matter of fact, you know what? I had my cowboy hat. I was about to bring it out for you. but the next time we meet, you know, mine is darker, mine is brown, so we'll catch up on that. You know, we have that. Hey, nice to see you again, Beverly.
Nice to see you too.
Bonjour, like we say.
Yes, yes. You've done so many wonderful things, Minerva.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's all about supporting people. You know, tell everybody what you've been doing, because Dawn, I don't know if you've spoken to Minerva, you must have, but she's quite amazing, and I know she's not going to say it, right?
No, I'm humbled.
So
I'm
Minerva,
humbled. Listen, my background is diverse to begin with. Well, as a Black woman, I'm diverse as well, you know, the nations that go through my veins. But I've started off, originally, I came from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Um, I am the granddaughter of Trinidad and Tobago's first um, Parliament of Independence. And my grandfather was a councillor in the River area, Mayaro area, and Ottawa area in Trinidad and Tobago. So I spent my life pretty much like my Canadian Prime Minister in halls of Parliament, listening and being obedient and making sure my legs are crossed and my eyes focused on all the different teachings and meeting the different diplomats that came to the home, of my parents and my grandparents, because their homes were next to each other. So I had no way of running anyway far from having both grandparents and parents to ground me over the many years. But today I am grateful, humbled, and thankful. My grandfather taught me something. He said to me, and he wrote it in every single one of my books that I had. I read my copybooks, and it says, "This is Daphne. Life is a learning experience." And I'm very emotional when I'm saying this. And every day of your life, you will learn something new. I didn't take anything to it, but today, as I'm much older, I'm 47 backwards. I embrace every moment of what he said to me because it empowered me and it gave me that support in my mental capacities to realize, wait a minute, you've got something that is important in this body of yours. This brain is not just for learning. It's just for feeding and filling, because you become this great harvest of knowledge and wisdom. So from there, I came to Canada to school. My first job was with Bell Canada. I was a long distance billing operator at the time, and then I became what you call it, a supervisor in a sense. And I expanded from there. I spent 3.5 months with Bell in that area. And then they came and said, well, we got to move you from here. So they moved me to administration. So I worked in stocks and bonds. So I was meeting everybody who was coming to exchange and buy or whatever they were doing in the stock transfer system, the transfer rate of stocks, whether it was common, or preferred stocks. So from there, I moved on to government and I left in government. I have done so many things in my life. When I was barely 26 years old, I founded a group, an organization called Affinity Youth Interlink Network Foundation in the Scarborough area of where I am right now. And that was to help the neighborhood because we did not have neighborhood watch. So it was a way for me to keep children whose parents did not have daycare in a space where they were safe. So they put this little thing on your window and the kids will come by and I offer them juice and stuff. And that sort of bubbled into so many things over the many years. I was able to to join school council with my children and started the breakfast program that we have here in Canada now. So it's little things, but they don't, to me, we are here as multi-nations, diversity, to really come together and do things together. If we as human beings were able to get together and support each other, and when I say support, okay, fine, I found a job, here you are, I can tell you about something here. We don't give information. We just hold it in the palms of our hands. So what are you going to do with it? At the end of the day, we all have to give an account of our lives. What is it? What would your tombstone say? I did it or I didn't, or I tried, So support is important. I've worked in many areas. I work in the border, CBSC at the airport. I've worked in immigration. I work in culture, tourism, and rec. I've worked with the grants area where we have programs that are under what you call it, you have your own internship, your own businesses, all these support ways, so I'm so diverse. And also I was one of the provinces of Ontario first employment equity counselors working with equity, so when it comes to people, diversity, inclusion, education, here am I. I would go to the prisons and visit and write letters to the warden so that we can have some of our young people, or whether they're older, that reintegrated society. I created a 3-year program on my own to pass them through that within a short space of time to see how fast they will grasp things and how quickly we can move them to the next level. You know, no human being was born bad. No human being deserves to be denied. But when we fall into the cracks of society, the cracks of the world, we end up in places that we don't expect. Recently, someone sent me something from Philadelphia, and it just drove me crazy. You know,
Let
so
that really shares a lot and tells a lot on who you are, how you got to where you are, and where you want to go and help others. So that's terrific, and that speaks to support. So with that, let me go to the audience, because without their support, this show isn't what it is, and and that's what's built this show. So Renadeb is here. He's here about every morning. Always the first to comment. Must have the fastest computer in the world. Wonderful
Hi,
to
Renee.
be today. Great to have you. Omar's here. Omar has this
good
Zoom
morning, Omar.
party, and he's always doing fun things, helping kids, helping others, keeping a full-time job. So
Oh, yeah.
Omar's definitely a quality person, and to Beverly's point, someone that I've known, trusted, and liked for a long time. Arshish is here. Thank you so much for being here. Tanya's here. It's great to see you, Tanya. Tanya's going to be coming on the show.
Hey,
She's from
Tanya.
South Africa, and she works
Yeah.
on sales funnels. Debbie's here. Debbie's just the greatest, the most enthusiastic, fun
Oh,
person
yeah.
to have on a show. People helping people. Nice to meet you, Minerva. Nice for everybody to meet each other. This is the opportunity to network, get to know each other, have people get to know you. You don't want to be LinkedIn's best kept secret, right? Agree. Don't join the witness protection program here.
Oh, yeah.
Agree support is important. Christine, haven't seen you in a bit.
Wow.
Always glad to see you, Christine. She was one of the first ones to the show, and just a wonderful lady doing just terrific things. She likes the new video layout. So do I.
Yeah, me too.
I moved from StreamYard to Restream, and I'm learning everything the first time right. Thank you, guys. Donald, give ideas to my songs, and tomorrow we'll watch Iron Man and Tony Smile. Kelly's here. Kelly's always here.
Hey, Kelly.
She's just
Hey, Kelly.
good to see you, Minerva. Dennis, who is our resident rocker, diverse and still rocking and rolling. LinkedIn user must be Carrie. Good to see you. Barshish is here.
Wow.
The only song of Joyful Time, Let's Do Whatever It Takes. And Renata finishes up with support is required by each and every individual and their respective stages of their lives to progress ahead. Now, Beverly, it's your turn.
Well, yeah, I just wanted you to share all that, really, Minerva, because Minerva works on the ground level, really with people on the ground level. I was working on the ground level, but it's different. The kind of support that I give, of course, is professional support. That's where I've been trained. And that's what I love to do. And the reason I do it is because people change. And I love working with people. And I say working with people, I am a people, right? We're all working together. And so if you have the tools, share it. And I really feel that we're all about story and we're all about where we come from. And it's that story that helps other people. And that's why in my podcast or what I do or on this show, I share personal stuff as well. And when we hear what other people have been through, that supports us, but it also supports you because what happens is you say, hey, we're all in it together. And that's support. No one is perfect. And it doesn't matter how many letters you have behind your name. And it doesn't matter who you are or what job you do. It comes right down to being a person. And the know, like, and trust factor, I always go back to that. So you have to give support. But another thing, by the way, not only ask and receive, sometimes you deny your own support. Like a simple thing, like taking care of yourself, a simple thing like that.
Mhm.
Or your ego, which says,
Mhm.
I don't need that. And I'll go back to one thing where my ego came in big time. Okay. I developed about a year and a half ago arthritis, osteoarthritis in my hip. That doesn't happen to me. Okay. I do yoga. I'm a vegetarian. Well,
Yes,
actually, I
yes,
eat
yes, yes.
fish, right? I take
Mhm.
care of myself. I help others. I'm invincible. That doesn't happen to me, right? Nah, surprise, it happened to me. Okay. And what my husband came up with was he said, because I was suffering, I did everything I had to do, went to doctors, continued with yoga, agonizing pains. If anybody has sciatic pain, it is the absolute worst when it goes. Anyway, I
Yeah.
suffered. And he
Mhm.
says, take a cane, see what that's about, right? And I said, no, okay, are you kidding me? I like shoes, and I do like hats, and I like capes, and okay, a cane doesn't go with this, right? So anyway, I said, okay, let me just try this thing, right? When I
Mhm.
needed it. So I ordered on Amazon a cane, a black cane that's going
Mhm.
to do it. It's going to be a fancy cane, right? It's going to be able to be, opened and closed and put in my purse. And I'm going to be able to, anyway, I have the cane of canes. Okay. Well, guess what? When I used the cane, my hip shifted, and it was really cool. Okay. The bottom line is that is support too.
Yes.
Letting go and being able to receive so you could do what you want is
Mhm.
support. And we go through transitions in our
Mhm.
lives where you have to say, hey, I need help. Or maybe if
Mhm.
I use this tool or let go here, or if I'm a super mom, maybe I shouldn't be so super sometimes
Mhm.
because I need support too. And we have to know when we to set our boundaries and say, enough is enough. Support me so I could support you too.
So
And
true.
that's what goes on together. And I
Mhm.
call my husband my support animal, which is perfect.
Well, I think you make a great point because things change, you change, your support needs to change relative to where you are, what you need now. What used to
Mhm.
support you won't support you in a new
Yeah.
endeavor or a new
Exactly.
situation as well. And, that
Yeah.
really brings to point the factor of you're the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
Those are the people who will give you whatever support or lack of it that they bring to the table. And you have to take inventory, just
Yeah.
like if you were taking a trip and say, how much gas do I need to put in the tank to get there? If I want to do something, how much can I do on my own? And I'm happy to. How much
Mhm.
am I lacking and need some support? And where can I find that? And I think, it's bold and brave to do something that at times would be a vanity issue, right? I
Mhm.
mean, as one gets older, they choose comfort over style, right? When you're younger, you could afford to squeeze into things or even have a little nuisance to it if it made you look better or feel better or you wanted to present yourself in a different way. So it's really, just like every day you decide what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat,
Mhm.
what support do you need? And if you don't have it, put that on the list to do,
Mhm.
and
Yes,
I
yes,
think at
yes,
that
yes.
point, as long as you know something's coming, someone's going to be there eventually, then you can kind of traverse it yourself.
Mhm.
So before I swing it back to Minerva, let's catch up. Harvey's here.
Yes,
Harvey's has a great show following this show.
Yeah,
yes.
I always have.
I'm so proud of Harvey, and actually, he's having Gretchen on
Yes.
today, who is my Monday person for the last 10 months. And she's just a great gal. So good luck to Harvey. And as I talk about Harvey, I need to talk about Kelly because her show, The Awesome Journey, follows Harvey. So this is the triple header today. So if you have time, check out Harvey's show. You'll enjoy it. Check out Kelly's show. You'll be excited and empowered by it. Dennis comes back. Agree, support is important in prison and not support is hot. That's a little interesting. In an organization, support is very important for an individual's emotional well-being, health, motivation, recovery. You know, you need support every minute of the day. You know, you need to hope your feet keep you straight up. You know, you got to hope you hang on to certain things. And really, the other part of support is not just the physical side, but the emotional side, the personal side, the relationship side is, you know, who is with you and when are you alone when you're with someone or something.
That's right.
Right? And being alone is the default situation, not the preferred. Renata says with a proper support system, an individual will always prosper in all aspects of life. And, you know, with support comes communication, it comes relationship. So it's not only the goal, it's the journey, who you're with, who you can share, how can you make them better for you being with them and supporting them, which then requires either through guilt or gratitude, someone will return the favor, and now you can qualify for mutual support, which is two people helping each other get better and maybe being better than they could have been on their own. Debbie says, with the right set of mind, with the right people, with the right support, things happen. Yeah, being right is about doing right, you know, not just thinking right. You know, thinking without doing is kind of a distraction. Wonderful point made. Great. Harvey says support to hold something up or someone up to bring them up, to stop them falling down. So important. So Minerva, where are you now with support after hearing these wonderful comments? And
you know, support is having an advocate. It's very important. And you know, advocates are everywhere that you need. Because I forgot to mention that in my early times when Lincoln just started, I was one of the mentor coaches that they will send different students. They will send me their resumes, leave me messages. This is what I'm doing. And, you know, like, you know, for instance, a young man had told me from the south of the United States, he said, I got a bachelor's degree in psychology, but I want to be a real estate agent. So I had to ask him, did you not think about it before? Or did it happen along the way? Because, you know, we go into a discipline and something happens, something clicks and you change your mind. And then you're trying to, what am I going to do with this when I really, my heart of hearts is going to be in, I think I'd do better in, you know, in the real estate area. So you have to have an advocate, you know, a mentor, a coach, someone to be there with you. And the other thing is, remember, support is a pillar, something that you can stand on. So if someone gives you their time, they're giving you the part of their foundation. So you could sit on it, hold on to it, and know very well that that person is taking you where you want to go, even if it's, you know, quarter of an inch or maybe 2 centimeters, you know. Just be thankful. And another thing is, thankfulness is so important when it comes to supporting people. Some of us don't realize that we're all dressed, we all that, and 2 bags of chips, like I say, that's my favorite word. And we don't say good morning. Do you know, if I say good morning to you, because of the type of spirit and soul that I have inside of me, it's a blessing to you. So learn to say good morning. Everybody's busy. Oh, you see them every morning. They got all the devices and they good morning. They don't even look left nor right. You know, I find it so disrespectful for human beings to do that to one another. Yes, we're busy. Yes, we have a lot of problems in the world. Yes, there are people that may snap your phone or things like that. But don't think negatively. You are the positive end to life. And if you give life and positivity, it will be given back. So always remember, the people that support you might be the one that says good morning to you. And the second morning they say good morning to you, they will respond. And guess what? That might be one of the opportunities you need in your life because you'll get talking down the road. Life has strange routes and strange roads for us to take. So try your best and realize what the word support means. Support means to hold you up. Okay. It's reinforcement. So today, most of you are online, like I am online. I have another program that I do called Community Dateline, and people come on for that support. It's a support mechanism. Donald has taken the time. He thought of human beings. He thought of you and I. The same for you, Beverly. When we think of people out there, we think of what we have in our backgrounds. We are willing to share, but you have to be receptive, and you have to be ready. And don't say, well, that's not for me, because you don't know when that piece of information that came on today might be what you need next year, 2020, 2024. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Somewhere in July, and say, what was it again? And you go there, you get into LinkedIn and you're scrolling down everything to find that one thing to see if it's there. And guess what? It's dated and it's gone. You lost it.
Well,
Don't lose your support.
Minerva, I think you bring up a wonderful point because support is all around you. Nature supports you. The universe supports you. Your habits support you or don't. What you eat, how you exercise, how you relieve stress. The game is always between you and yourself. You set the rules. You determine the winners. You determine the punishment that comes with lack of compliance or whatever. But it's for you to be the chooser. Too many people are waiting to be chosen. They're in position to wait for that call, to get that door bell. But what they don't fully appreciate, that's going to happen when it's going to happen. In the meantime, make it happen. And at least learn what isn't working for you and test, ask questions. I think curiosity is the first step towards support. Because like Beverly says, well, if I have an issue and I don't do anything, the issue is not going to get better and it could get worse. So what are you trading for? There's a saying, when the pain of holding on is greater than the fear of letting go, you let go, right? And when you can realize that you're swimming against the ocean, instead of with it, and having the ocean be able to surf for you, it changes. And that's why, if you looked at something very simple like build a house, would you like to build a house, or would you like 100 people joining you who have different skill sets and motivations to be part of that? And you know what? It's only a house. What about a life? A life has a home usually, but a life also has. So if you needed 100 people or whatever number for a house, how much do you need for a life? And how many do you have? Some relatives, some friends, some associates, but you don't ever have too much. If 100 extra people showed up to build your house, you'd say, fine, more the merrier. Before we switch it back to Beverly, Elizabeth is here. So great to see you, Elizabeth. I see Elizabeth all over the place. She's coming on the show, I believe, next Wednesday. To have you, Debbie. I wrote to her saying you got to come back. Everybody misses you. So Debbie's getting settled in her winter home now. She lives in Wisconsin 6 months and then down in Florida. So Beverly, having the support of this great audience and being here every day creates, a lot of people say, well, how much time do I have to invest versus how much of that time is invested for me and in me from all these people, right? In a lot of ways, everybody here is a polishing wheel for everybody else. If you lean into them, they'll start to take care of some of your imperfections by sharing the feedback. Because, if you're doing a lot without noticing what other people are seeing. But when people can share, here's my thoughts, here's what you could, and, with the thought of trust, when people give you constructive criticism that you trust, you go out of your way to thank them.
Mhm.
Right? When people give you criticism that you don't trust, you go out of your way to avoid them. So Beverly, your turn to
Okay. Yes, the topic of support can go on and on and on. I mean, we all need this.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, Minerva and Dawn, it's the human connection. And this is why AA, for instance, works,
Mm-hmm.
for those who like support groups.
Mm-hmm.
These are just people helping people that have been there, people helping people that have been there, done that. And there's a system. They have, of course, the 12 steps, etc. But it's basically people. And it's the same thing. It's all the support groups are based on that. And you can even go with Weight Watchers, which is a business as well. But it's basically people helping people. There's no dietitians here. They have their own thing. But whatever it is, it's people. And you're in a group and you're all in it together for one specific purpose. And I was contacted last week. I'm on the board of, well, it's the Golden Life community worldwide, which is incredible. And what they're looking for is they're going to be doing live streaming and all kinds of wonderful stuff. And they said, Bev, what do you think women need?
Yeah.
What do we need? Support.
Everything.
That was exact everything. That's a whole other story, Minerva. But the main thing is support. And it's community. It's that we're all in it together. And you contribute your way and you contribute your way, and we all support each other and we feel better and we rise higher because of it. And when we cut ourselves off, and I'm going into business now, and maybe there are these power plays and we don't share our information, what we're doing is we keep our companies, we keep ourselves, we stifle things and we
Yeah.
don't rise
Mm.
higher. So a good team in business or a good team in life, as you know, or a good team in sports or whatever it is to play as a team. And
Mm.
some people are better at this and other people are better than that. And we support each other. And I think we all have to have this feeling that we are okay, that we're
Mhm.
good enough, that we can stand in our own space and we don't have to compete. This is who we are. Go for it. Just be and support other people. And everything works out in the end. Like you said, Dawn, the universe provides. Step into it.
yeah, and
Let it support you.
and the more we
That's true.
talk about support, naturally, the more we think about what support means. And what one has to appreciate is you need to have something supportive for someone to want to support you,
That's right.
right? It could
Mhm,
be a cause, it could be a
mhm,
desire, or it could be something more tangible. And
Mm.
here's what I advocate: get conversational before you get into a conversation. So, in other words, what I do is anything new like StreamYard. Typically, in my past, I would try to figure it out and maybe use intuition or experience, but that fails all the time. So, what I did, as I said, I'm not going to take my restream habits with me here, right? I'm going to start with a clean slate. I'm going to get on YouTube.
Mhm.
Honestly, you get 6 5-minute videos by some of the best people on
Mhm.
StreamYard, and even StreamYard people, and you're so much smarter and aware, and you have context. And then you spend another half an hour on Google and figuring that out. So you got an hour invested. How many
Wow.
hours of difficulty scratching your head trying to figure it out and it's not working versus making that first hour of learning? And that way, if you talk to somebody for support, you've understood what you're dealing with. You got some idea what the terms they're talking about,
Mm.
and it's a new adventure. And here's the thing: when something isn't right, even though it's not your fault, you can't stop looking for a better way of support. So I knew Restream, I'm not knocking, I'm just sharing, was having issues. And I don't know if it was theirs or whoever, whatever, but it was still issues. And so I decided to make the switch. The first time went live, and unlike Restream, you got to hit go live twice, right? I go
Mhm.
live once,
Yeah.
and I'm 3 minutes into the show, and I'm not having a show yet. So second day got a little better, third day it got a little better, and the fourth day you get confidence. And not only that, you went from a challenge place to a happy place. You're learning more, you're more versatile, you can do more. It just shows what getting up, doing something, talking with someone, being with someone can make so much difference. So with that, Minerva, back to center stage. Uh, we
Yeah.
talk a lot about support.
I I
What,
feel like the child in school when the teacher called me.
well, I feel like the teacher sometimes, and actually, I was a special education teacher out of college for a while. So why don't you share what one of the most supportive episodes or individuals
Okay.
came into your life
Well,
and made a difference?
the difference, I make a difference in so many ways, fortunately and unfortunately. Presently, and for the past, well, 6 or going on 7 years, I have been a board member of our federal government. And I ran in the capacity of being a regional director in Ontario. It's just crazy. We have the largest riding of electorates here. But thanks be to God, I'm over that. So what I'm doing, I'm a sitting member now. But the amount of information we put out there, we gather so much from communities, from the grassroots. I'm a grassroots member, and I have, had so many hats worn in those capacities. I work with the Women's Commission. I was a mentor for candidates for political office for a time, and it's tedious, but it's so rewarding when you see what you have to give along with others, because it's not just what I give. It's a package of people coming together doing things in different ways that makes you the person that you are. And when you see people rising up to the plate, I too ran for political office twice, but I ran against two incumbents. I lost, but on one occasion I was given the appointment for the 4-year term. So I was able to get on the inside of what's taking place, and it's it's a very tedious job. It's very unthankful, I think, simply because people don't. When you look at it from the outside, he says, "Oh, well, why is the prime minister not doing this?" And we forget that we have opposition and the leading parties. We forget all these different things that are present, and your hands become tied, even though you are the person at the head of the ship. So when you look at things, you have to look at it and try to figure it out and understand it. But if you don't have understanding, I think people should ask questions, because supporting your needs means there's somebody down there that's looking after it. And when we sit in grassroots, and I go back to the times when my children were young. I have four of them, three girls and a son. And what would I need? What would I have needed then? So I put that for today, for those who are coming with their children. What would I have need in the work, in the jobs that I did? And I put it for those who are coming behind. So when you have support mechanisms, they're not just there because it's available, but it's there for specific places to zone in on things that are think the reason why parties win is because the grassroots are working diligently to ensure that these things are going to happen. So when we create discussion, when we find we say support. I say we go back and we go back to a group of board members, and we said, well, party support is the key. So let's everybody what you go around the table like we're doing right now and say, well, what is your position and support, and what is your position and support, and then we look for the most important parts of it, and we take that back to those who are in power, and we says, okay, this is your discussion. We have a discussion, and they send it back. They look at it, and they will table it in Parliament, and then they'll bring it back for voting on it. And that's when it becomes law, because you have three readings: the first, second, and the third reading, when it becomes royal assent. So it's not an easy thing to just look at government. People look at government and say, oh, well, he's in there, he's doing that. But you'll be surprised. Me being a board member, having 4 years behind my back, in a position as an appointment, it was just tedious. I mean, I accomplished a lot with the group that I was with at the time, the other people that were on the boards with me, but it's not easy work. And, people have to be thankful and grateful. It's easy to make lots of comments out there, but your comments, without having sat in my seat, sometimes will be relevant and most times it's not, simply because you don't understand.
Well,
We
yeah,
think of,
I think, Minerva, that goes to the point of understanding.
yes,
And in today's world, where there's so much misinformation,
yes,
let
yes.
alone information, that some people who search for facts find fallacy and also find discouragement and not support because, just like we say, we're motivated to trust and like and know.
Mm-hmm.
Most people trust and like and know people they don't know or trust or like yet, and it goes center stage. So, Beverly, what's your latest thoughts on support and how one can
Yeah.
take advantage of it?
How can one take advantage of it? Well, we have to reach out. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, let your ego go. Even if you think you're a superpower, and a lot of people do, or I can do it myself, we can't do everything ourselves. But another thing, we can give too much support too. And women, more than men, have a habit of doing that because you're nurturing your children, and sometimes they don't need you as much as you think that they need you, and you're giving too much support and you're enabling. And I was speaking with somebody just the other day. Actually, we were on a summit together, and this is a coach, and she's over 50, and she was working in a bar. Well, that's what she was. She was a professional barmaid, or whatever you want to call that.
Bartender,
Okay,
bartender.
Barry
Mhm.
said, yeah, sure. And she's over 50, and people are starting to say, aren't you a little old for this? Or how old are you, right? So she's saying, oh my goodness, I can't do this for the rest of, I'm going to be 60. I'm going to be working the bar. But obviously, it's good money, right? And she was raising her son, and her son is on the spectrum. And she was getting very depressed because it used to be that a new lipstick would cheer her up, or, new shoes would cheer her up. And now here she is. Nothing's cheering her up. She says, I'm just getting old. I have nowhere to go. She took a break. She went to Mexico. And what she started to realize is she had a lot of other good things to give. And she started helping people in Mexico and saying, maybe I'm going to live in Mexico. But what do? I have this son. Now he's an older son, and he's on the spectrum. And what she decided to do is she went on Instagram, and she put out her handle. And her handle is wine glasses and boarding passes, which I think is absolutely hysterical. Okay.
That-
And she
Wow.
decided, okay, I'm going to live in Mexico, but I'm going to figure this out with my son. Went back. Guess what? When she keeps going back, he keeps on doing better and better because she has a support system for him here, and he has to be able to take care of himself. And
Mhm.
she also has to take care of herself. And that is what she found. And she's taking care of others in Mexico. And she's become a coach as well. That's why she was on the summit for people that want to just change their lives.
Mhm.
In her case, it's wine glasses and boarding passes, but
Mhm.
it's like, how do you do it? How do you let go? How do you let go support when this is what you've
Yeah.
done your whole life, supporting my child who is now an adult and is in his 30s and has to learn to support himself. You have to know when to let go. You
Fantastic.
have to know when you're enabling. And that's very hard. And people have a problem with that. Many, many people have a
Mhm.
problem with that. Like, when do we let go? How do we do that? And we're not going to be around forever. So we have to stop supporting as well as supporting too. We have to know
Well,
when the boundaries there.
well, that's
Mhm.
so important.
Mhm.
Um, when you look at being able to know when to let go, know when to go for support, know when to relieve the person who's supporting you, right? Someone comes over and helps you with a dinner and it's
Yes.
done. You don't say,
Mhm.
can you stay for breakfast, right? You say thank you very much, and you get
You
respect
move on.
of their
Yes.
time, their effort, their intention, and it
Mhm.
goes beyond the dinner. It goes to a relationship. It goes
Mhm.
to a familiarity. And you're always braver when you're with a group. You'll do things you would have never done on your own. But if you're having a party and people decide to play games or have something different, you're more inclined because you get into the mood of it, the energy of it. And I think that's where people need to really focus is their energy level. When you show up, are you flat? Or are you like excited and
Mhm.
enthusiastic? And can you create that naturally, not just with a phony mask and a false bravado, but authentic, real, original.
Mhm.
That's why masterpieces have so much value because they're one of a kind.
Mhm.
And,
That's right.
and they can never be replicated the same way again. So, what can make you a masterpiece in people's eyes to say
Mhm.
you're a unique creation? And a
Mhm.
lot of it is self creation. And, people actually respect people who go out of their way to say, I need support.
Mhm.
How many people said, if you would just ask me, how many people decided to do something on their own and they weren't ready for it or able, something happened, fell, or whatever. And it's like, I was just another room. If you would have just, you're doing me a favor. When you tell people you're doing me a favor when you let me help you for two reasons. First of all, I
Beautiful.
want to. Second of all, I don't want to see you get hurt.
That's true.
Right? So
Mhm.
even if I'm there and you didn't need me, I'm still there and happy to be there. So many people think they're an intrusion. They're
Mhm.
they're they're an obligation or a commitment that people
Mhm.
shouldn't have to burden themselves with. But they're not giving the other person enough credit at that point. And they're not giving themselves enough credit because ask yourself how many times have you done for so many
Mm.
without expecting anything in return. So why can't you welcome what you've been giving for so long and give
Mhm.
other people that opportunity to grace themselves in that? Real quick before we get back to Minerva, Tanya says we've got to fill our own cups to continue to support others.
Yes.
And why not
Yes.
fill our cups together? No one has to lose for someone to win,
That's true.
right? In most cases, you're giving excess. If
Mhm.
someone came to you next door and said, I need a cup of sugar, it's like, I don't even care how much. A cup is nothing, and sugar doesn't mean anything to me. But thank you for thinking of me. And more importantly, that was a great way for me to share something that didn't cost me much. But I also built a precedent then, right? Because the next time I need sugar or flour or something, then it's easy to go next door and knock on the door.
Mhm.
And I think that's really the key. In the older days, maybe today too, there used to be like the welcome wagon, right? Somebody would come to the neighborhood,
Yes.
and there
Yes.
was somebody with a bunch of stuff telling papers, here's where stuff is, here's when we meet. here's activities, and then somebody would come in with a bunch of brownies or chocolate
Yes.
cake or cookies and welcome you to the neighborhood, and then you'd be able to share with your family, look at the
Mhm.
Joneses next door did for us. It gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling that you belong.
Yeah.
And people who belong are supportive, right? Because they want to stay belonged. Harvey comes back with just want to say how much I'm enjoying the show today. It's one of those intently listening ones. That's true too,
Thank you.
because I'm not seeing as many highs, more relevant comments and listening. So,
Yeah.
the only important thing about the show
Mm.
is the takeaways everybody, including this panel and the audience, can get. And if that supports you, then maybe find other things that mirror that, other shows, other opportunities to provide support. And, so many people are looking for things from their connections instead of creating and offering things to them, right?
Mhm.
You'll get it back eventually. So, Minerva, your turn on the stage.
Okay. Support adds value to what you have. Yeah, you need someone to support you. It's one of those. It's like maintenance. You're maintaining something when you ask for support. I need, like you said, if the house is falling down, you call a few neighbors around, and before you know it, that pillar that's broken is already standing up. The house seems to be even higher when you look at it from a different angle. Yeah. So value is important when we look at support. You value the support you get. You know, um, meeting people, you know, advances. Mentoring is something. Now, support is counsel. It's counseling you because it's telling you, hey, you know what? It's like when I spoke with Donald. He said to me, he's listening and he's talking to me and he's telling me, and I'm saying, now I'm seeing the value in myself, because you pour so much out until someone else is seeing what you're doing. You just keep giving and you keep doing without someone saying, hey, by the way, you got this skill and that skill, you know. And then I look at it as this, because for me, it's like, okay, I know how to do it. I can get it done. It's nonprofit. Someone called me last week and says, I have this new nonprofit and we want to get the government's money. And could you come over to help me to set it up? And I thought of nothing of it. And then I sat down and I said, but wait a minute. They didn't even say to me, well, you're 74 years old. I'll come and pick you up. Do you have a car? Nothing. It's okay. We'll see you next week, Friday. you know so you cannot take things for granted in support. Support is a really great gift that you're receiving from someone that you don't have in whatever area that is, because we are supporters of each other's as human beings. You have things that I would like to have, and I have things that you would love to have. So we're sorting. It's an exchange, and sometimes the exchange is just not verbal, but it's monetary, because that's how it is, because that's how we move from strength to strength, and we build our lives up in this world. So don't take everything for nothing. If someone does something for you, try and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to send you some flowers. I'm going to send you, what's your email address? Send them a transfer and say, thank you so much. Of a couple of dollars, some money, because you know how valuable that is. If you were to check on it, you would not realize how expensive support is if you have to pay for it. Ask governments, ask people with companies, and they will tell you every single item has a price behind it. Sport is not free, but support is available. There are people who will support you. You know, we give our time, we don't expect anything back, but it's nice when you remember and you do something good for the person that helped you, because we all need stepping stones. It's, stepping stones on the river will take you across to the other side. And it's, don't be like the crabs in the barrel. Just want to say, oh, help me up. When I get on the other side, I'll come and get you. I'll leave you be. Leave
Well,
the rest of them in there and go this way.
I think, Minerva, you make a great point, and people take certain support for granted.
Yes.
You know, how many people love having a police officer when they need one available, or a
Yeah.
fire person, or a first responder. And these are people who dedicate their life to support, you know,
Mm.
and putting themselves in risk yet.
Danger.
You
Yes.
know, and I think you make another good point, Minerva, is don't empower people to take action, help them take action. Like you
Yeah.
say, make it easy. Like, hey, I'll pick you up,
Mm.
right? So now you don't
Mhm.
have to worry about driving, parking, you can relax,
Yeah.
and why not take that extra step that you don't have to? People don't take the first step usually, let alone the second step. And the other thing, challenge yourself to be more proactive,
That's
initiate.
right.
Ask yourself, were you the first one to say good morning to that person? Did you
Yeah.
respect that space of theirs when they walk by? I
Mm.
see people and I move. If they've got a dog, if they've got an issue, I give them room. I
Mhm.
don't just walk by them, because I'm walking by my life as I'm walking by their life, or walking through your life. How many times at the end of the day you say, I don't even know what happened today. I was so lost in my thoughts or my issues or my distractions. And what it says is everybody is too much for themselves. Until
Mm.
you involve yourselves in something bigger than yourself with people who are, there's a saying, don't be the smartest person in the room. You always want to be around somebody who knows something you don't, can share something you'd like to know,
It's true.
and also shows that you have room to grow. You have room to learn. You're not complete yet. You
That's
don't
right.
want
You're
to be
teachable.
plateaued. You want to wake up tomorrow thinking, hey, this is going to be the best day of my life because I'm going to be talking to somebody new I didn't know. I'm going to be visiting something, and changing environment is support. How many times you get so caught up in front of the computer, and then you think about dinner and you think about this, and
Yeah.
meanwhile you didn't go anywhere, do anything. And if you take a 20-minute walk, your whole world opens up, expands. You're not looking at a wall or a ceiling or everything that you're used to, and you owe it to yourself. Like on my Apple Watch, it every so often it says time to get up. And if because it's time to move,
Yes.
it
Yes.
knows
Yes.
when you've been sitting too long, and it's like, thank you,
Yes.
you're right. I like, because when I get back to it, I'm a little bit better. So in closing, we'll turn over to Beverly for final thoughts, and then Minerva, and then we should be at top of the hour. I just want to share the last few comments. Debbie says, thank you as often as possible to
Yeah,
those who've indeed offered support.
yeah.
Thanking shouldn't be something you try to minimize. If anything, I would spend more time explaining why I'm so
Mhm.
grateful. What did this, instead of
Yeah.
someone saying, they picked me up, took me to the grocery store and say, thank you for the ride. Why not
Yes.
say
Yes.
thank you for the ride? Because it made such a difference for me today. It allowed me to do things and not worry about driving or whatever. And, that extra 3, 4 sentences reinforces
Mhm.
that person be like, man, I'm so glad I did it for this person because they enjoyed it. No different if you cook a lovely meal and no one even tells you how they felt about it. It's like, I'm not going to do this very quickly again. Harvey comes back with, I want to say thank you for today, always learning, always supporting. Time for me to shoot to
Thank
prep.
you, Harvey.
It's a good first act. Time, money, and energy are all currencies for
Yeah,
sure.
Yes.
yeah.
Agree, sharing and caring still works for sure. So, Beverly,
Yeah. Well,
another
there's
great.
so many things to say on this, but the first thing that came to mind, Don, when you talked about people coming welcoming you, the welcome wagon. Well, times have really changed here, at
Mhm.
least here. When we move into an area, we get a welcome tax.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like, and so it's so important to bring in that human connection. Instead of knowing
Yes.
your neighbors, you may have to go out and extend and say, hi, I'm so and feel free to do
That's
that.
right.
We can support each other. Here in Canada, we have snow. And what happens whenever we have these horrible disasters of snow, when it comes down, people get out and help each other. And that is so nice. But unfortunately, a lot of people only do that in times of disaster or times of crisis. And so, what you're saying here, Minerva and you, Dawn, is when we help others, we really are helping ourselves too.
That's right.
When I'm reaching out and I'm helping my clients or, doing groups or whatever, I get so much satisfaction out of that. It's for me as well. And so when you're saying, Dawn, I'm there for you, please take my help because I want you to. It's shared, it's reciprocity. We do for each other. And so think if you're reaching out for help, the other person does want to help, whether they're trained for it, like firemen, or whether it's just the neighbor next door. Say thank you. And often that's the hardest thing to say because we want to do it ourselves and we don't want that support. So thank you, Dawn, for this opportunity. Thank this wonderful community for being here, that you built this opportunity for all of us. And Minerva, I think you're wonderful. So yes, that's it. That's all.
Well, that's plenty, more than enough. And you're so supportive in so many ways. And it's all supporting each other for each other and for the future that makes a difference. Every morning I do this show, and every morning my wife Ann says, "Good luck, have fun," every morning. And every morning I say, "Thank you so much for your support," every morning, and you get into a routine where it's the same words, but the intention is still valuable, right?
100%. 100%. And can I just add this one last final comment? I always provide a free 15 minutes. Free 15 minutes if you're stuck in any way. You will find you can schedule an appointment. It's on my profile at any time. So it's support. If you want to reach out, go for it.
Yeah,
I just had to offer that.
Beverly is so sincere, and in her ability and capability of supporting people, and 15 minutes could make a whole difference in your positioning that day, your thought process, your attitude. So thank you so much, Beverly. That's why I keep having you back on, just to keep thanking you. Minerva, final thoughts on your first show, and then we'll let everybody get back to work today.
It was an awesome pleasure. Little things mean a lot. It's a door opener for each and every one of us. And getting support opens those doors for you. Do not be afraid to reach out. And also remember, it's someone's time you're taking. And be grateful, because you have to be grateful for the things you do. Thanks so much for having me. And to all of you who came and looked at the show today, I say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Dawn, thank you for the great opportunity. And I'm sure that we will connect again in other ways. So, well, Beverly, we are Canadians.
Yeah, that is.
So we're looking forward to the snow.
Not me.
Well, I grew up in Detroit, so I'm almost in Ontario.
Oh, you're on the well, I'm on the border.
Right there.
I'm not quite on the border, but I'm Ontario, just further out in Ontario. I'm closer, to the east end of. But I used to go to Buffalo all the time. To go to New York all the time. It's always my place to pass through, zip through to, when I take in the 95 or go through Buffalo, whichever one I'm doing, or the I-75 to go to Florida.
Go to Buffalo, you're going to get just as much snow or more. So,
exactly. Yes, exactly. But we and on the borders we help each other. When it's bad on our side, they come over. When it's bad on their side, we go over. And that's what it's all about: supporting one another and building and creating things that will be lasting and could be passed on to generations beyond us. And that's how we build unity and community in everything. This is why my program is Community Dateline, and I love it on Gem FM. So you can find me. I'm also in Lincoln. And Dawn, I hope to be back again with you and Beverly one of these grand days, or someone else.
Feel free to share any links you want in the comments. So not a lot of
Okay, my program is Community Dateline. It's on Gem FM. It comes through on Zoom. You can get it on Facebook and YouTube, and it's on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10:30 to 11:30. This is why Don, I always jump on it after you on the back end, the last half hour with you. So feel free to come and listen to my programs. It's on a different basis. It's on a Christian basis as well. I'm also a pastor, so I'm not marrying anyone anytime soon, but I do
Well,
a lot of counseling, etc.
there's no end to your resume and
Yeah.
what you do for others. And I have to applaud you because a lot of people are starting to slow down while other people in their same position are speeding up and taking
Yeah.
advantage of access and availability. So with that, went a little bit over, but I'm sure it was all worth it and a lot of
Yeah.
fun for me and everyone else. So thank you so much for
Thank
creating a
you.
beautiful show,
Thank you.
Beverly
Thanks,
and
Don.
Minerva.
Thank
And
you.
with that, bye
Thanks
for now.
again. Bye-bye.
Bye.